Let's get ready to rumble.
Here we go, episode 48 of the Hibs Ramble. We are back, the Ramble 4 and Leith 7 together. As you can see, we're all in our uniform tonight. Sean's actually had to be surgically removed for his jacket because he's never had it off. Boys, how are we?
Great.
Oh, brilliant, mate.
Fantastic.
Quality, eh?
What a feeling, man.
So we decided after our inaugural Hibs Ramble Award show to take a wee break, which I think has served us good. We're all invigorated. We're buzzing to be back for another season of the Cinch, another season of Johnson Ball, another season of, no doubt, laughter, tears, fighting, cuddling. But you can rest assured that, most importantly, pies, and you can be rest assured that the Ramble will be with you every step of the way, every week, every Monday. Well, we record on a Monday, but every week the boys will be here, whether it's 2 of us, 3 of us, 4 of us, maybe 5 of us.
And we'll be looking sexy as we do it as well.
Yep. It's also unfortunate, well, not unfortunately, but we've had to agree into a contract where we have to wear this jacket for every single recording this season. So
I'm happy with that, though.
Yeah, we'll definitely be getting our money's worth out of it, that's for sure. But aye, boys, what have we been up to? Mark, how's your sabbatical been, or as Gary Neville calls it, a mini retirement?
I must say I've enjoyed not having the football every week. I think I needed a wee break. Last season was by far the heaviest season of going to games of my footballing life, so definitely needed a wee break. But you know what? I'm ready to get back into it. Andorra, I'm ready. I'm ready to go to Andorra now.
Yeah, when the draw was made, and I think the draw had barely came out the hat, and Mark was like, I'm already planned, I've got my train here, plane here. And of course, my first thought was, I hope we get the Faroe Islands team, so it just absolutely fucks them up.
Planes, trains and automobiles, Mark, whatever it takes, eh?
They're actually the favourites to win the tie. It's only 2-1 at the moment, and they've still got to go to the home leg, so it could be the Faroes team. And there's no chance I'm going to the Faroes. Absolutely no chance.
Nah, I mind when was it under Lennon we played that Runavik team?
Aye.
And it took about 3 days to get there.
Fuck that, man.
Because there's just so many islands. Ironic when it's called the Faroe Islands, eh? McKirdy, what have you been doing? You and Sean had a very busy night a couple of weeks ago.
We did have a very busy night. Packing up all the Leith 7 orders. It was a struggle on the old fingers, but Sean did very well. I supervised most of it and made Sean do all the packing and the sellotaping and everything. I just kind of provided the venue, to be honest. But no, we managed to get batch 1 all out. So if you ordered in batch 1, it should be with you now. And if you ordered in batch 2, I can give a firm update that batch 2 is in stitching. So hopefully it'll be with us sooner rather than later, and we can get that out to you. But I enjoyed my sabbatical as well, Craig. Thanks for asking.
Good. What about you, Sean?
Nah, it was good. It's good to get a little break, recharge the batteries, ready to go again. Big things planned.
Yep.
I tell you what I did, Craig, during my sabbatical. I got to spend a wee bit of time with Megan and the bairns, and I tell you what, they're actually all right.
No,
right.
We were at Centre Parks a couple of weekends ago, and it wasn't as bad as what I thought it would be. Centre Park.
Did you get phone signal in there?
It was patchy, but there was Wi-Fi provided throughout the facility, so I was able to watch my pack openings on YouTube for Ultimate Team. So I was.
What age are you, man?
I'm 32 now. Yeah, 32. I was 32 last week. But no, the River Rapids at Centre Parks, quality, absolutely.
Did
quality.
you do archery or anything like that?
No. Me and Alfie.
I suppose probably wouldn't be the best for you, would it?
Coordination. I'd be fucking firing arrows here, there, and everywhere. Me and Alfie did play mini golf. We went on one of the wee electric boats round the lake. Thomas went quad biking, and then there's like the kind of like it's no trapeze, but kind of like how they have like the stuff suspended above the ground, like you walk, can your harness in.
Like go wake, stuff like that.
Aye, and Alfie was buzzing to go on it, and I decided to go on it with him. Till it turns out I actually exceeded the weight limit. So, and I thought I was.
Did you find out the hard way? Did you fall through the fucking bridge or something?
Well, thankfully we checked it before it. And I was like, oh, I'll just surely like I know it's like harnessed in and all that, but it won't matter if it's just a wee bit over. No, they actually weigh you before you go on. So I wasn't being embarrassed and getting weighed in front of people for them to go, nah, we go for it.
Was it heartbreaking?
It was.
What having to walk back down the steps?
No, because we checked it before we booked the activity. So, it was
Oh man.
Thought I'd share that. We laugh with yous. Nobody that listens is allowed to laugh though, or you will be blocked from ever interacting with Ramble ever again. So moving on from my expanding waistband to an expanding squad list. After the squad list had went down, we've had lots of in and outs. So we've had so far Jojo Walcott and Max Boric. I think it's safe to assume that Boric will maybe be the sort of replacement for Murray Johnson going out on loan, just to make sure we've got an extra keeper. We've got Jordan Obita, Dylan Levitt and Adam Lafondre finally signing for Hibs in what seems like a rumour that's been going about since Wee McClendon was in nappies. Are we happy with the incomings as they stand so far? I think one thing that we mentioned last season at times was a lack of experience in the team. A lot of young players, and when you look at, Walcott, Ghanaian international, Obita's played majority of his career in the the Championship. Dylan Levitt, we've seen him up close first hand, been at Dundee United, and then Lafondre's scored goals at the highest level as well. Sean, are you happy with the incomings that we've had so far?
Yeah, I think what I like the most about them is the fact that we're getting all these good, well, on paper, they're good signings early doors as well. They wanted to make sure the Levitt deal was done before the trip to Marbella as well. So very happy with the quality. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know a lot about a lot of them other than Levitt, if I'm honest. But on paper, like I said, they look like they should hit the ground running, bring good experience. I think a lot was made of the Lafondre signing because of his age and stuff like that. But with the model that Johnson's wanting to bring in, I think having someone like that will only do good for the younger players. And as long as that's not the only striker we're bringing in, then yeah, we're in a very good place at the moment.
No, I tend to agree. I do still believe that there'll be quite a lot more movement in and out, especially when you look at the names that have went out. We've had obviously Kevin Nisbet left us to go to Millwall. Kyle McGuinness, quite surprisingly, ended up going to Kilmarnock. Chibraya went back to Croatia. McGeady, Devlin, Dabrowski all released. We found out today that Runar Haug has went back to Norway. And then a few players out on loan as well. Dylan Tate, Kyle McClellan, Josh O'Connor, Murray Aiken and Murray Johnson all about on loan. Mark, see just on the outgoings, Kyle McGuinness, right? What do you make of the whole situation with him going to Kilmarnock?
I think it's about time that he was moved on. I think that there's no doubt about it, he's a quality player, and I think there was a spell at the start of not last season, the season before, when Jack Ross started the season, he played something like 13 games. I think he scored the majority of our goals, and he really looked like he had hit that form we were looking for. And then he got injured long term again, comes back briefly, injured again, and I think he's just suffered another couple injuries tail end of last season. So I think, as much as I like him as a player, as much as when he's fully fit, I would take him in a heartbeat. But getting injured that often, you can't continue to pay a player's wages, and we've given him plenty of opportunities. I mean, how long has he actually been with us? That's 3 years, 4 years, something like that. and he's only played really a handful of games, never really got an extended run in the team. So for me, I'm pretty happy to see him moved on. Listen, I wish him all the best. I hope he kicks on and stays fit and makes something in his career. But I just think we can't afford to be paying wages for a player that's going to be in the physio 9 times out of 10.
Especially when he signed, I think, with the transfer window being extended during the COVID season. I think we signed him about September time. So September 2020. And that was the season he played most of his games. I think he had made something like 24 appearances. So he was coming off, I'm sure it was a cruciate he'd done. And then he never really done much that season. It was mostly substitute appearances and here and there. But like you say, that season at the start, I remember the goal he scored in Rijeka. I know we ended up getting beat 4-1, but the goal when he just completely broke beyond the defence and slotted it, and then he scored away, I think, was it Motherwell, first game of the season maybe?
Yeah.
The following season, he looked that spell up until I think he got injured just before the international break, and he looked quality. So it's disappointing, but I think it's the right move for all parties. And you'll probably find that his wage will be diverted elsewhere now as well.
What baffles me about, a quick one. What baffles me about the McGuinness leaving is that he's went to Kilmarnock, and you can't imagine that plastic pitch is going to do his injury problems any favours at all.
I
wonder if it was a case of best out of a bad bunch. But with all due respect to Kilmarnock, but
I don't think there's many teams that would be willing to take the gamble, to be honest. I think fair play to Kilmarnock, they've taken a gamble because everyone knows that there's a player in there, but I can't see many teams, especially the top half or even the top 8 of the league, wanting to gamble on him, knowing fine well that in 3 years he's been injured. And they're not just wee niggly injuries, they've been really, really big injuries that's kept him out for a while. So Kilmarnock might well have just been the only team that were willing to give him a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in situations like this as well, Hibs are very, very rarely proven wrong with releasing players. I suppose you could really think back to Wotherspoon going to St Johnstone and winning, did he win like 3 cups or something?
Yeah.
In his team with them. But other than that, there's no very often does a player leave Hibs and then it comes back to bite us on the arse. There's no doubt though we'll play Kilmarnock at some point in the season and he'll have an absolute stormer. Like it's guaranteed. It's written in the stars.
Or he'll never be injured again.
Yeah.
Aye. That's the thing. If their gamble pays off, they've got themselves a serious player. Like if he
for next to nothing as well. I can't imagine that they've paid much of a fee because he would have been in his last year of his deal.
I think no, he would have had 2 years left. He signed a 5-year deal when he signed.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So I think maybe that's one way that's Hibs have said we won't ask for a fee if you don't ask for your contract to be paid up.
Yeah.
Mutual agreement, I believe those ones are called. But it leaves us with a lot of gaps in the squad, especially up front. I think it would be remiss of us not to sort of mention Nisbet. He had a sort of love-hate relationship with Hibs fans for a period of time. We were just speaking before we came on about obviously that he signed, had a great 6 months. It got to that January, he didn't get the move, and he's sort of just kind of lost interest a bit. Then obviously he never really done much for the rest of the following year. Got his injury under Sean Maloney, but then when he came back, the Rangers game when he came back after that, like for the majority of weeks, he was unplayable at times. And I think one thing that gives me sort of confidence is that no matter who the manager's been over the years, if we've lost a striker, more often than not, we tend to replace them quite quickly. You probably need to go as far back as maybe Lee Griffiths to be the one that we didn't replace adequately enough. So I think we've got full faith in the recruitment team, but we do have a lot of gaps. So one space in the squad that's about to be filled is Will Fish's return. Mark is a massive United fan and also a massive Hibs fan. I know you're going to be making an appearance on a United podcast in the next couple of weeks to speak about Will Fish. How excited are you about the prospect of him coming back?
Very excited. And you're right, I am a massive United fan. And
what's your middle name, Mark? I'm sure you've got a middle name that is a nod to United, is it not?
yes, well, Ramble viewers, you're in for a treat. My middle name is actually Cantona, after Eric.
Just for
It
clarifying.
actually is. People will be watching saying, "I no bother, mate," but it genuinely.
No, to be fair, Mark, I think everyone actually knows, because every time you're out and you've got a pint in you, you're getting your ID out and showing everyone. My middle name's actually Cantona, by the way.
Aye, especially when I'm down at Old Trafford. That's my total party piece. Like, as soon as somebody comes up, I'm like, "All right, mate, my name's Mark Cantona Duncan. Here's my ID." But anyway, Will Fish, aye, buzzing. The only annoying thing is that it's only a loan. But I suppose it shows how highly rated he is at United. He actually played against Leeds yesterday, the second half, which they won 2-0. And he looked pretty decent. But aye, buzzing that he's coming back. The exciting thing is he'll get a full season this time. Last season he only played from January, and then he played something like, 17 consecutive games or whatever. And it'll be so good to see him get a full season under his belt. And to be honest, I think he'll go from pretty highly rated to even higher rated.
No, you're right. I mean,
He'll be swimming upstream.
there has been this obviously chat about, can we get him on loan with an option to buy? I think he'll have a year left on his contract by the time it comes to the end of the season, long loan. Sean, for you, when you look at priorities in the team, you would immediately, because we've signed Dylan Levitt, the two areas are at the back and up top. Would you be happier with Fish on a loan to divert more resources to a striker, or would you feel more comfortable with spending the resources on Fish to get him in permanently and then see what's left for a striker?
Because we know what we're getting with Fish, I would be happy with the first option, like taking the loan and then going all out to get like a proper guaranteed goals number 9 that's got potential as well. You said he's only got a year left as well. I read someone said that his contract's out next year as well, so that would be even better if that was the case.
I think
United have got a
extension
option.
Yeah, 2025 contract would be up. So we have a year left this time next.
Is that if they trigger the extension though?
No, that's without the extension.
Right, okay, cool. But regardless, I would, because we know what we're getting. Yes, he had a bad start to his Hibs career, but the way that he finished, he could have easily walked away with Player of the Year and nobody would have really batted an eyelid at it.
Yeah.
So I like what we're getting. Listen, we all would have wanted him on a permanent or an option to buy or something along those lines, but I'm just happy that, and who would have thought it in January, that we'd be screaming to get him back and we're all over the moon with it. For me, it's just making sure that if we do take a plunge into the market to get I'm saying a number 9, just a striker, someone that's going to get guaranteed goals, that we get it right. That's my hope.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. The issue that we've got about getting Fish on a permanent is that the money swimming about in England is so vast when it comes to, I mean, I was reading something about, I think it's James McKirdy that was on loan at Sheffield United last season. Obviously got promoted to the Premier League. He's played 17 minutes for Man City, and they're turning down bids of over 30 million for him. So you can see that if Fish comes here on loan for another year, does as well as he has done for the last 6 months, but does it for 12 months, Man United could easily command a 10+ million fee for him.
Absolutely mental.
To a championship team down south. I mean, even like
if Ellis Sims is going for 8 million to Coventry,
yeah,
sums it all up.
He played about 5 minutes in the Premier League last season, him.
So in terms of outgoings, we've got sort of other than that, obviously the sort of developing loans for O'Connor and Aiken at Airdrie. Obviously, it was agreed that they would go there when Airdrie were in League One. I think everybody involved is kind of struck gold with the fact that Airdrie ended up subsequently getting promoted, which means that both Josh and Murray will be looking at higher level football than what they were before. It might turn out good for them in terms of playing against the higher level opposition. It might actually go the opposite way in that they might not get the same amount of game time that they would if they were in League One. But other than that, the other one that kind of stands out is Jair Tavares, who seems to be on his bike. Didn't get to go to Marbella with the first team squad. Ended up going to the sunny sights of Dunbar to play with the Dev squad instead. Missed a penalty, got subbed off, went in the huff. Is that just one that we can just pin down to a punt that just didn't work, or did we get hoodwinked by Benfica and we actually went for Duke and they gave us Jair instead?
I don't know. Jair is a player that you kind of want to do really well. I mean, obviously every player that comes through the door you want to do well, but I think with the pedigree that it came with from Benfica. I mean, I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. If you play for a team like that, you can't be a shite player, really. Like, you've got to have something about you. I don't think he's built for the Scottish game. I said that in the group chat not that long ago. He's not built like Duke is. And Benfica might have rated Jair higher. I think the Portuguese game is a far cry from the Scottish game. You just have a look at Ryan Gold. Couldn't cut the mustard at Hibs, but was starting every week at Sporting Lisbon. So, no, I don't think it comes down to poor recruitment. I think it just comes down to, this one just didn't really work out.
Yeah. I think it's one thing to note with him as well, and I believe Lee Johnson's actually commented on it in the press, is that Hibs need to be smarter in how they communicate signings as well. Because when you think about it, Jair was given, straight away, he was given number 10. To me, squad numbers in football these days don't really mean anything, but to people, giving him 10 is like, fuck me, he's going to be our main guy. Obviously, they put him in the front of every promotional thing. He had the Caller strip on, getting photos done and that. It was hyped up to fuck about him coming. So maybe that's a lesson learned for the media team, to just maybe tone it down when it comes to announcements.
I think as well, like, he's coming for Benfica, fair enough, they're a big team, and you think, he must have something about him if he's coming for there. But at the end of the day, he's playing for Benfica B team, and if he was any good, Benfica wouldn't have let him go to Hibs, or they would have.
No, but so was Jota. So was Jota when he signed for Celtic, was he not?
Aye, but did they know how much did they pay for him?
No, well, he was a loan initially.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Celtic still paid $6 million for him.
Just
after a season at Celtic.
You always have to ask, like, if he was that good, right, and no to downplay Hibs or that, but if he was that good and rated that highly, he wouldn't be coming to Hibs. He'd be going to Celtic, or he'd be going to somewhere in England. So, see, when all these players come in big hype when they come for big clubs, rarely for me, Will Fish for me is one of the only ones that's actually worked out. Usually when they come for big clubs with big hype, they're actually no great, because why would they be coming to Hibs? It's usually the wee hidden gems that work out best. But anyway, he's no good enough, and I'm glad he's leaving.
Talking of hidden gems, there's no really more hidden gems, but obviously with the first team in Marbella, it seems to be a theme that every year, sort of maybe 2 or 3 younger players get the chance to go. Obviously this year, Kanai Omego's went, someone who's a big Rambler. Me and Sean seen firsthand at the Nantes game how good he was. Jacob McIntyre, Rudy Molotnikov, and also Ruben McAllister. Now, I do believe that Ruben's only there because his mum's away on holiday and Jamie couldn't find a babysitter. So he needed to keep a close eye on him. But what do we think, Mark, about these 4 boys? Do you think they've got any chance of penetrating the first team squad this season?
I hope not. I hope they didn't penetrate the first team squad.
Conflict interest.
I don't know. Probably not. I mean, from what we've seen last season, I think, they're really good players, and I think they will eventually. But from what we've seen last season, all these really highly rated players not getting that much game time. I know young Josh came in, some games. I think they'll start getting integrated in moments of games, but I think when the pressure starts building is when he'll pull them away. I can't see them breaking in this season. I think we'll do very much what we did last season and play them. Maybe if it gets to the tail end of the season and there's nothing much to play for, that's when you'll start to see them coming in, or maybe when it's late in a game and we're chasing it or something like that. But I can't see any of them breaking into the first team and keeping their place there. Just doesn't seem to have happened for a wee while, to be honest. So, well, who was the last one? Probably Josh Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
He was probably the last one I can think that's come straight for the youth team and got his place. I hope it does, though. I hope it does.
Yeah. Liam, if there was one name on the list, though, if you had to pick one, who would you be more, maybe not hopeful for, but who do you think would have the best chance?
Of the ones that are in Marbella?
Yeah.
I'd really like to say Megwa because I really do rate him. But from what I've seen purely, Molotnikov, I think he looks really, really good. And he looks like a player who's really very comfortable on the ball. I'm not too sure how much we need a player like him in that position at the moment. But he's definitely one to keep an eye out for. He's impressed me in the games that I've seen.
I think if it was going to be anyone, I think it would be Megwa. If there was anyone that breaks into the first team, I think it would be Megwa.
Yeah, I think especially as well with Cadden's injury and then Lewis Miller not really being reliable enough at the moment to be fit for a consistent period. But you make a good point, Liam, about Molotnikov. I'm sure he came on against Nantes as well, Sean, when we were at the game. And when he came on, I think we both turned to each other and went, fucking hell, that lad is tiny. Like, he looked so small and slight, and obviously football players didn't need to be 6'3" and bulky as anyone, but he looks like he's proper. I know Joe Newell said it on commentary for the Bournemouth game that we were listening to. Joe Newell mentioned that he's constantly in the gym, trying to obviously bulk up, and you can see it's worked. He's taken one of those like McTominay style stretches. How McTominay said when he was like 16, he was 5'8", and then when he came back after the summer, he was about fucking 6'3". So do you go along with Megwa, or do you think that beyond Megwa it's probably Rudy that would be next?
Being the founding member of the Megwa Supporters Club, I'm definitely going to be all in his court. But I completely agree with the points that you have made, and I agree with what you're saying in regards to his ability. Whether that's a player we need in that kind of area at the moment, no, but realistically he's not going to get too many minutes. Hopefully they might get some European minutes depending on how well we play in the first legs of them, or leg, depending on whether we get through the first one or not. I think it's just about exposing them at the right moments this season, regardless of who it is. I don't really like the approach that we took last season. And I don't like the approach we took the season before, where we just chucked 4 or 5 of them on in the last game of the season. I feel like we could have maybe done something a wee bit earlier than that. Mm-hmm. So I think it's good signs that they're over there in the first place. It looks like we've got the ones out that need constant game time out on loan, and then the ones that can maybe bounce between the dev are potentially still eligible for the 19s and then play a part in the first team will be there. And I echo what you say about Miller and Cadden. I think that's a fantastic opportunity for not just for Megwa to get a good run of games, but for Johnson to maybe chuck him in and actually, allow him to show Lee Johnson what he's capable of on a consistent basis. And I think given the chance, considering it would be right back, right wing back, or right centre half of a 3, I don't think he'd let anybody down at all.
Yeah. And I think we'll touch more on sort of the season preview in a couple of weeks, but when you look at the first run of fixtures we've got, it's not as if we've got anything severely difficult. We've not got Hearts, Aberdeen, Celtic or Rangers in the first 6-7 weeks of the season. So it would be a good chance for me personally. It would be Rudy, only to have a full Easter Road or a full Roseburn stand against Hearts, singing Rudy, and them not having a fucking clue what to do about it. But because you mentioned the European fixture, Sean, so obviously that's our next competitive game. I know we've got Groningen at Easter Road a week on Saturday. I don't know if we've got any games in between that. Can't remember if we do or we don't. As Mark touched on earlier, is it inter-escapades or escalades or something, or 2-1 up at the moment? So on the back of that, the club have announced that Block 7 will be given the lower section of the famous 5 stand for the home leg. Something that us here on the Ramble, we've been incredibly supportive of. Obviously, we had the Block 7 boys on earlier on in the season. Liam, what do we make of them getting the full lower of the famous 5 for the home leg of the second qualifying round?
I think it's brilliant, to be honest. A lot sooner than I think anyone thought. Sorry, my boy is just trying to chip in with a couple of words. What do you want to say, Tommy? Nothing. Oh, well, he's gone quiet now. But no, I think it's really good actually. I think when Block 7 had those chats with the club, they were talking about it was going to be not this season, but next season they were going to start going in the famous 5 lower. So it's good that the club are sticking to the word and giving them trials. I mean, I don't think you can call them trials anymore. I think this is actual. It's shown that it's worked through the dev games, and they'll obviously get a lot more uptake for a first team game. I mean, and especially a European game. So I think, what are you laughing at?
Are you laughing at what I think you're laughing at?
I could just hear like a clapping in the background.
I'm needing he's needing a bottle, that's why. So I need to soothe him. I can't get out to make him a bottle. But
Smart
for the
person,
only listeners, I'm just patting my son on his arm like that. I'm not wanking, don't worry.
Whereas Mark thought there was a set of cheeks getting clapped in the back.
Well, I fucking hope no, by the way. I hope no.
Oh God!
But I think it's great, Craig, and I'll put myself on mute now.
Mark, you said, and I quote, "If it goes there permanently, you will move there because the West Stand is full of parasites." I believe was your verbatim wording.
I actually think the word was cancerous rather than parasite.
Sorry, so it was even worse than what I said. Even worse.
I thought you were being polite there and not wanting to use the word, Craig.
No, it was. How do you feel about it?
No, I'm excited. It'll be interesting, especially the fact that it's not just a block; it's the full stand, the full lower. I definitely will move my season ticket there if it becomes permanent, just because it'll be at this moment in time. It's only away games that you get a buzz, especially sitting in the West. No disrespect to anyone that sits in the West, but you go see, you have a couple of pints, even if it's Derby Day, and you sit and you get into it and you start shouting and all that, and everyone around you just looks at you like you're an absolute piece of shit. So I'm looking forward to actually going to home games and enjoying myself and being able to kind of get into the game. And I'll definitely be sitting there for the European games as well, just to see what it's like.
Yeah, I think me and Sean obviously were there for the UEFA Youth League game, and like for me, it's not for me only because I can't stand the drum going for the full 90 minutes. I don't mind it if I'm there and it's away from me, but being right next to it isn't for me. But I think for the Conference League qualifier, I think it might be a Ramble get together for the singing section to provide clear and unbiased opinions on whether it'll work or not. Sean, I don't know about you, right? If you agree with this, but I don't agree with them being given the full lower bit of the stand. I think it opens up to, I don't know if it's like potential stragglers or whatever, but I would have preferred it if they were given at least the middle block and maybe one block either side to see how it sells.
Yeah, I think it was the two of us that had this discussion a while back about if it does go perm, should they put them in the corner of either side and then allow it to grow in from there, very similar to like the Union Bears. And I kind of would prefer that approach. I understand your point about them not getting the whole lower section. I wonder if it's just maybe a move that the club are making because they want the whole lower section to be packed, rather than, right, we're going to open it this block, and then the people that would have went there if they opened up the whole block have already bought their ticket in like the East or something, and now that the one block's sold out and a second one's opened, people have already bought their ticket in another section of the stand, so then kind of go there. So I wonder if it's maybe just a move of, right, you guys will go right behind the goal, yous will go in that block, that's where your tickets will be, but we're going to open up the whole block and then just try and put as many people in there as possible. Because if they had just done that block, I wouldn't go and sit there. But very similar to the reasons that you mentioned, Craig. But if the whole lower is open, then sound, I'll go and get a ticket in the lower. Whereas if they just opened up that one section, and I wouldn't know if they're going to open up another one, I probably would then just go and get my ticket in the East or the West lower, depending on what part of the grounds they open. So I get it from both points. I think they're probably just trying to do what I mentioned in my first point about just trying to pack the lower and the lower only, and maybe that's why.
I think it's going to look so much better when we're playing on the telly as well. Like, the one thing that sticks in my mind is that equaliser in the last minute against Hearts early in the season, and I mean, I think we'll all agree that was some of the best limbs at Easter Road we've ever experienced. But see, when you actually watch it back on the telly, it doesn't look that great because the famous five lowers either always empty or it's families, so it doesn't look great. Whereas if you had that hole behind the goals packed with Block 7 and all those people that are kind of up for a bit of a laugh, really, then it's going to look unbelievable. And then especially with safe standing and all that, if that comes in, I think it's going to look superb.
I think it's more, for me, is more the sort of management of it, because obviously we, when we had Block 7 on earlier on, we kind of spoke to them about some of the issues that had come for them, in terms of flares, smoke bombs, etc., getting chucked on the pitch. There was an instance that I witnessed that was actually nothing to do with them, so it's more about they not being tarred, so if they're on the middle section and somebody in the far left section decides to chuck something on the pitch, because they've lobbied for this, are they then going to get chucked in with that or no? I think the one thing that stands out for them is that clearly the club are on their side. And it's maybe just a wee bit frustrating from our perspective that sort of Hearts got theirs up and running during the season, and bang, they've been given a section in the Gorgie stand already. When Hearts are almost toiling to sell, they've not really got much space left for their own season tickets, that they've just upped and moved out a section of fans. So hopefully this is the start of a proper consultation with supporters that sit in the famous flag stand, because like you say, Mark, it looks fucking terrible. Like, I sit in the upper, so it doesn't really bother me how it looks at the game. But when you see, like, when you watch the highlights in that back, it just looks brutal. Right. Like, if anything, it should be a case of you fill for the ground up.
Yeah.
So have that lower section packed and then have spaces dotted about in the upper tier. I've seen folk arguing, I've sat in that stand since it opened, so I'm not moving. Well, you're a liar, because it was a family stand when it opened, and you can't get tickets for a 30-year-old anymore as a kid. It's a family section for adults and children, not adults and their now grown-up children.
I think to be honest, I think it's nothing but good, eh? I think it'll do nothing but good.
Yeah, it's well needed. It is well needed.
I think so as well. I think what I get the frustration from, like, the Hearts perspective as well, but Hearts have never really had like a singing section or like a devoted group to like create an atmosphere, to my knowledge, that I can remember. Whereas we're maybe on our fourth one by then, and by the time we're on our third or our fourth, the previous groups have maybe eventually either got a good name or a bad name or whatever, and then that's probably why they've not been able to make the moves that Block 7 are making now, for whatever political reasons between them and the club. Whereas Hearts have got this, it's brand new, they've hit the ground running regardless of how little their numbers are or whatever, and they've went, do you know what, let's take this and run, and then they've just been able to do it. So yeah, whether it lasts or not, or whether it is yet to be seen.
Well, hopefully they can do more displays like they did before their cup game against Celtic, because that was absolutely magnificent. the homage to the fact that some of them are for Fife and probably live in Dunfermline, given the flags were black, white, and red. It's an image I'll hold forever with me. So as we've always said in the Ramble, back the block. We'll be sitting there when the tickets go on sale. Make sure you're sitting there as well. And it's the return tonight of probably everybody's favourite segment of the Ramble. It is the listener questions.
Now it's time to answer the Hibs Ramble listener questions.
As always, we'll start with our favourite from our man John. All capitals, what's for dinner? Yes. Liam, first yours is literally sitting right next to you.
Well, it was sitting right next to me, and then I had to substitute it out for Tommy. So my pakora pizza is sitting over there on that chair over there. But a pakora pizza from Mario's Chippy in Lone Heath, and I stand by it. It's the best pizza I've ever had in my life.
A pakora pizza is a disgrace.
Mate, it is fucking unreal. There's no pakora sauce like on the bottom or that. It's like it's tomato sauce.
I don't care. Pakora on a pizza is just wrong.
How? Would you have normal chicken on a pizza?
Normal chicken?
Aye, would you have like spicy chicken on a pizza?
Wouldn't even be my first choice, no.
No, but would you have it?
Have I had to?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, would you have spicy chicken on a pizza? So what's the difference?
But I wouldn't have spicy chicken on a pizza. I would only have.
You just said you would.
If I had to, if I absolutely had to.
So what's the difference?
Like, I'm not allergic to it or that. I just wouldn't have it.
I generally don't think I'm in the minority here. I think a pakora pizza is a good thing.
Not a fan of chicken on a pizza, like. Can't lie.
How?
I had a bad experience.
Troy, come on.
As long as it's not a vegetarian pizza, or it's as long as it's not got olives on it, I don't care. Pizza's a pizza, I'll have it.
I like olives on a pizza.
I've never had an olive in my life.
I like olives on a pizza. I like olives, but I like olives on a pizza as well.
I don't think I'll ever have an olive in my life. They don't really look very appetizing.
It's an acquired.
It's an acquired taste.
Remind me never go for tea with you lot, man. I don't think the places that you go to would satisfy my chicken nuggets, chips and beans palate.
No, I probably wouldn't. You didn't even like onions or mushrooms or that.
Nah.
You're a bit of a creep when it comes to food, eh?
Yeah, I've got very controversial food opinions as well. Sean, what did you have? Let's guess, pasta or risotto?
It'll be pasta with salmon or something.
I will start the new season as I mean to go on, as I did at the end of last season, and I had, drum roll please, a pasta dish. I had a creamy bacon and mushroom linguine, and it was delish. However, I'm starving, so I think I'm going to have pancakes after.
Pancakes, nice. Mark?
I am starting the season strong, in my opinion. I had a homemade chicken curry.
Nice.
With some bits on the sides, a wee bit of mango chutney, some cheese naan.
Oh.
It was nice. It was very nice.
That sounds great for a Thursday.
Nice. Can I also just say, it was a vegetarian chicken curry.
Oh. What did you have instead of the chicken? Was it potatoes or lentils or something?
It was corn chicken.
Oh, really? Did it taste like actual chicken, though?
No, really not, but it's still quite nice. It's still quite nice.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like,
no,
I'm making the
to be fair, I think genuinely, it's the way forward. I think we're all going to get, we're going to get slowly swapped out of actual meat, and it's going to be fake meat, and no one's going to tell us, and we're going to have to do it that way.
Bill Gates, isn't it? He owns all the farms.
Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen anyway.
I feel like we're going down a bit of a rabbit hole here, eh?
Yeah.
No, really.
I feel like Matt Letizzi's going to show up at any minute.
What did you have, Craig?
I've not had anything yet. Because I was half day for work, I never had any breakfast. I had a pot noodle when I got home.
What flavour?
Chicken and mushroom.
That's classic. Classic.
Struggling.
And the best bit about it is that you treat it like a soup. So I also had a couple of bits of bread to dip in it as well.
I've not had a pot noodle in ages. Pot noodles are so good. Ken, what's everyone's favourite pot noodle?
Chicken and mushroom. It's
Can
like
tell-
Chicken and
can tell us
mushroom
a
one
week
is
before
very,
payday,
very
Craig.
good.
It's the beef and
curry one
tomato.
is also quite good.
The beef and tomato is the best one. Like, it has to be the best one.
that was a solid one. I had I tried they brought out a doner kebab one.
Oh,
It was fucking bogging.
I love a doner kebab, but I tell you fucking what, a doner kebab pot noodle, I don't even think I can get behind that.
Have you had the Bombay Bad Boy?
I'm too scared to try that.
So we
Burn the
arse
whole
burner.
Nah, I'm not a spicy boy. Whatever.
Yeah, I love a wee bit of spice.
Nah.
Fake. Doesn't like anything, doesn't like spice, likes yellow food. That's what you like, eh? Chips and chicken nuggets and that.
What am I going to have? I think I might have cheese on toast tonight.
Fucking hell, Craig, it definitely is the week before
Yeah,
payday,
I'm
innit?
looking for it. That's a Ben Kensel dinner.
Here, cheese on toast under the grill is not a fucking week before payday dinner. That is an elite level scran at any time of the day.
Oh,
Aye,
it's
you-
not a
all you've
dinner.
had all you've had today is a pot noodle and you're having cheese on toast.
It's no a dinner in a million years, Craig.
I'm not.
It's
I'm not
not a dinner.
It's gran.
it's not a dinner.
If you
it's
had a loaf of bread and a full block of cheese, it's a dinner, but you can't have
Aye,
couple
dinner
of
for you,
cheese
you
on
fat
tea.
bastard. No fucking.
Whoa!
You've had a 16-inch bloody
I've not
pecora
had it
pizza.
all.
No, yet he's no. No, yet
And
he's
then
no.
you're
There's no fish in
saying
it.
that it would be a dinner if you had a full loaf of bread and a block of cheese.
There's only one person in that household that's finishing something that's 16 inches, and it's no Liam.
Don't talk to me like that in front of my son, Mark.
Oh, dearie me.
I don't know if you missed that, Craig.
I missed what you said.
No, I thought you laughed at what I said.
I tried to, and then they two took over. Cause I was going for it, and then I got pure side blinded. Blindsided by Mark's fat bastard comment and celebrating for the fact once it wasn't directed at me.
I will be funny, right? New season, new graphics, new theme song, same fucking chronic pattern, man. Eh? Jesus Christ.
Absolutely stinks the house out. Billy, King of the North, with it being reported that LJ told fans we won't be bringing in a number 9, how do you feel about going into our first competitive game with Melkerson, Doige and Alf as our striker options?
Considering we
he's with
don't
the
have any of the big four for quite some time, it wouldn't concern me that much.
Yeah. But it does concern me that the club aren't looking at a number 9.
Well, if that
I
is
think they are. I think Lee Johnson said it was a possibility that they might not sign a 9. Because
Aye.
To be
See,
fair,
if-
it's not really
if you think about it, though, Craig, sorry, mate, I'm interrupting you again, but my point is probably better than yours. When you think about it, if by the time, if you can't get your first or second or maybe even third choice, that wasn't very nice. That
well,
wasn't very nice, you muting my microphone.
don't be rude to me like that again.
What I was saying was, before I was rudely muted, was when you start getting to 4th, 5th, 6th down the shortlist, I mean, they players probably, realistically, aren't good enough to come in and make a proper impact. So I would rather we waited, took our time and got someone in that's actually half decent than settle for a Curtis Main or a fucking Kyle Laffey or something, you know what I mean?
I'm sure he's just signed for somebody in like the 8th tier of Scottish football.
Yeah.
£1,200 a week as well, apparently.
Jesus.
be a wee
Johnston
mob.
Borough, was it not?
Johnston and Borough. They've also got Graham Dorrans.
Seems
Some of the
like
money
this-
kicking about at like that level is a joke.
Yeah. How do we? This is from Jeff Ashton. How do we feel about Hearts reducing away fans allocations? In normal circumstances, it only affects 3 teams, not us. Away fans can add to the atmosphere, as we know, and I'm worried that this is the thin edge of the wedge. By the way, all for banning away fans that continue to sing sectarian bile. There's been quite a lot of argument about this over the last couple of days on social media. Ironically, majority of it has been coming from Rangers fans about reduced away allocations, despite the fact that they reduced Celtic from 7,000 to 700 because they couldn't handle the fact they were getting fucking pumped almost every time Celtic went there. We'll quickly go around everybody, but for me, I'm all for look after your own. if Hibs were in a position to be selling out half of the South Stand with season tickets, I would want everybody else reduced to. I would be happy with every team in the league to get one wee square of the away stand, and it would be up in the corner as well. It wouldn't be in the lower tier, up in the top right hand corner as we face it. You should be encouraging your own support, not encouraging away support. IMHO.
I absolutely respect what they've done, and I also respect that we've got a bit of a gentleman's agreement that we get the full away, because I think that should remain always.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes Edinburgh Derby so good. And to be honest, I wouldn't actually enjoy derbies as much at Easter Road if there was only a little strip of Hearts fans or even a little square, because the best bit about winning a derby at home is seeing that away end clear out, seeing them all miserable, seeing them all shouting and screaming, and I'm sure they say the same. So I don't think it will, and I think it should always remain that we have that gentleman's agreement that we both get the full away end, because that's what makes the derby so good. But I totally agree. I think if you're in a position where you've got all these season tickets, then why would you give? And another thing, Aberdeen fans moaning about it. Aberdeen bring 1,500 if you're lucky to Tynecastle and Easter Road. So I don't know why they are moaning about only getting 600. So I respect that. Look after your own. If you're in a position to do it, then I would expect Hibs to do it as well.
And that's only when they're doing well. With
Exactly.
doing shite, they barely bring. They wouldn't even touch 1,000. And I just find it laughable for Celtic and Rangers fans to comment on reduced allocations because they're selling out, because Hearts are selling out their stadium. Like the horrible sense of entitlement that they've got is. It just fucking reeks. And when folks say, "Oh, I didn't mind Celtic or came what actually Rangers," nah, the two of them are as bad as each other. We here at the Ramble stand by hating the two of them in equal measure as the ugly bastards of the Scottish football.
They're two cheeks of the same arse, though, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, exactly. They can't live without each other. Anything to add, Sean? No.
No, completely agree. Look after your own if we can.
Gav Dick, we desperately need a striker as I'm not going into the season with Lefondre, Melkerson and Doidge. Well, luckily for us and you, Gav, it won't be you going into the season with those three. I see you're still reeling me in every single fucking week.
And we'll also have Ellie Yuan, which he clearly forgot that can play up top.
Yeah, need a start number 9, which none of the others are. You can rotate Boyle and Yuan through the middle, I suppose.
Especially if we change shape as well, we could play the two of them to the top together.
Yeah.
Doidge might be a surprise package this season, I'm telling you. Doidge playing in the middle of Yuan and Boyle.
There's no pressure on him, really, is there? There's no pressure on him at all, because we're now wanting to go out and grab another 9. And the fact that Doidge has come back and under the radar, he scored a lot of goals for us before he went out on loan. And they kind of dried up a little bit before he went to Kilmarnock. But listen, the guy kens what the goal is.
He's in the positions as well.
If it comes off his arse or it comes off his head or he fires it into the top corner, the boy scored about 20, 25 goals for Hibs over a couple of half decent seasons, or a season and a half of being like a starting striker.
That's what we missed last season, I think, is somebody to be in that typical Doidge goal. Like, you see the 2 goals against Edinburgh City, like they're the 2 most Christian Doidge goals you'll ever see.
But you got to be there to put them away.
No, exactly.
I'd like to see Boyle, Melkerson, Yuan up top, mixing between the 3 of them with Levitt in behind. Just with what the 3 of them could potentially bring, and then you've still got the likes of Doidge or Lefondre to come on if needed.
Well,
I feel like we need like a proper marquee signing kind of thing, but I'm not overly concerned if we can get those 3 or 4 or 5 if you include Doidge, the right service, then we're going to get goals.
I would say, I don't know what to push in your conflicts, but I think Levitt is going to play in the...
He looked a lot deeper, I know. I didn't really like the look of that in the first friendly when he was sitting so deep, but he's still got a pass about him, so...
It also makes me feel physically sick. The fact he's wearing number 6. It actually makes me feel really unwell.
Okay.
I know you said that the squad numbers didn't really count, Craig, but they do.
Are you sure it's not just the Pecora?
No, it's not the Pecora. I hope no, anyway. They've still got another 16 and a half inches to eat.
What about your pizza? Jack says we're fastly approaching our first competitive games and we haven't tapped into the loan market whatsoever. With our success stemming from loans like Miko, Fish, CJ and Yuan last season, do you think we will see at least one or two brought in on loan, or is LG looking for perms? Well, I think we can safely say that Will Fish will be one of them.
I thought it was a great question, and I think maybe we've not tapped into it because we're trying to explore other avenues and trying to secure better, stronger, permanent deals.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we can't secure them, like our first or second option, similar to what Liam was saying earlier, then we'll maybe then tap into that and we'll have players on the back burner that are maybe ready to come out on loan, like Miko last year, like that kind of player. Nobody knew who he was when he first signed, so it wouldn't surprise me if we do a deal like that as the season starts or towards the end of the window.
Yeah,
I think the fact that we've got the ties with the City Group as well only helps us if, we are looking to bring a couple of loans in, then, we've probably got a half decent sized pool of available players to pick from as well.
I think we were maybe getting a boy from Man City, but they've
that Fiorini.
one of the loans.
yeah. There's
That's a new rule, I think. The
yeah.
international loans.
Aye, so the Premier League brought in a rule that teams in the Premier League can only loan out 7 players which are classed as international loans. So obviously they could farm out as many as they want to the Championship, League 1 and League 2, but if they want to send like Will Fish coming to Hibs, for example, that is Man United using one of their 7 allotted international loans. And you'd think that at the bigger clubs that we'd be looking at for loan players, they'd be more, when you look at, just because it's Man United, for example, like when that Ahmad signed from Atlanta and then went back on loan, like that's sort of a different level compared to us.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be quite lower down in the sort of priorities here. Like if Man United at the moment had 6 players out on loan internationally and it came down to a choice between Will Fish and, I don't know, somebody like Elanga going to play in the sort of upper end of like Serie A or La Liga, you'd think they'd get priority.
Yeah.
So loan moves will probably happen a bit later in the window. Even though, like, I think at some point during the week we were all captivated by Miko's Bird's Instagram stories because they were getting posted that she was in Edinburgh.
I wonder why that, like, why she posted that, or because it looked like it was a summary picture, and he signed. Did he not sign in January? Am I making it up? Did he sign in January?
He was on the transfer deadline day, but
Yeah, it was last.
It got to the stage where people on .net were actually trying to work out the cloud formation that day at Ormiston. Like that time somebody clicked that Omionga was coming back because they tracked the flight plan and then
they seen like the Himalayas or something. Not the Himalayas, but they seen like the Alps.
Aye. He came to Belgium via Vietnam.
Oh, that's funny, man.
Just a couple more. Kirsty's asking who deserves the captain's armband this season.
Joe Neal.
Josh Campbell. And I will be throwing my weight behind him again this season.
I don't know, actually.
I'll go Joe Neal.
Joe Neal or Paul Hamlin, if not Josh Campbell.
Did you just say what I thought you said, Craig?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
What did you say?
Say?
Move on.
I said Rocky.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're assuming that Walcott's going to be number 1.
Fucking hope so.
So you'll probably more than likely be Hanlon. But, maybe Joe, because he's
had the captaincy before, hasn't he? And he's been here for a long time.
But just one play of the year as well, eh?
Yeah.
Right enough. Not Ramble player of the year though.
This next one from Thomas is a bit of a loaded one and might go over the head of one or two people. What do you make of these charges against Easter Road in the training centre? The club's borrowing money, but what for? So,
Is this not what Ron done when he first came in, though?
Yeah, so
and it's just because of how we're changing and moving it about, it's came about again. Is that right?
No, so effectively what it is that the club has secured a form of borrowing.
Yeah.
And the club need to put up some collateral for that borrowing, in essence, an asset. So what you'll probably find is that initially, when the Gordons took over, to loan the club money, they maybe secured 25% of the land value of Easter Road. So if anything was to happen, the club could sell Easter Road for 10 million, for example. Hibs would get 7.5. Ron would have got 2.5 because it was a 25% arrangement. So what you'll probably find is that last year they've done the same, which was for the rebuild of the hospitality suites, etc., which has proven to be sensational by the club because it's completely increased revenues. This one seems to be, obviously, we've had the new hybrid pitch installed at Easter Road. I believe there's been a like-for-like installed at East Mains as well. So an exact replica, size, etc. of the home pitch is getting built at East Main. Well, say built, it's getting laid, seated, etc.
What I was saying at the start is it's not unusual for us to be doing that because we've already done it a couple of times before.
No, it's not unusual. It's not unusual for businesses to put their assets.
I know that, but that's what I'm saying. So, like, for people that weren't aware, because people are now kicking up about it, it's not new for us because we've already done it a couple of times because we've used said allowance, so to speak, or the money to reinvest it elsewhere. And so far, the other places where we've used the money, it's worked out so far for all the other investments that we've used it for. So it's not unnatural for the exact reasons that you've said, and we've also done it in the past. It's just everyone's now maybe being more aware of what this all looks like and what it means from a financial perspective.
Yeah, the charges don't really mean much unless the club gets into serious financial bother, or, for example, the Gordons get into bother and they decide to call it in. If the loans are paid back and the charges are still there, it doesn't really mean much. It just means that if the club, for whatever reason, was to get sold and the Gordons retained use of Easter Road and leased Easter Road back to the club or whatever, but given the way that they've spoken about, after Ron passed away, their vision for the club, etc., no, things can change very quickly. But to me, this is a good move. This has shown that the Gordons are once again ponying up. Ironically, was the phrase that Ron used when he took over. So there might be big incomings on the way. That's what I'm taking it.
I agree with you, Claire.
Welcome to Hibs, Sam Cosgrove.
Yeah, hope not. Last question. James Kinneborough said, of the players currently contracted to the club, what's the starting 11 for the first league game? Keeping in mind that Rocky's suspension. To keep it short and sweet, I would say it's today's starting 11, bar Rocky out and Fish in.
Yep.
I don't think we'd be too far away for that.
Maybe Martin Boyle, if he's available.
Don't think he'd start.
I think he'll be fit for the start of the season.
Nah, but he may not start.
Yeah, I don't think he'll start.
Yeah, I think it'll be pretty much I'm hoping it would be pretty much the 11 that played or started today's match.
Bearing in mind you'd have Miller back from injury, hopefully Joe Newell back from injury, hopefully.
Obita
back
in as well, probably.
So, I just hope
actually, can I just say on Obita, I think he's actually really very good at football. And he's got a brilliant name for songs.
Based on 45 minutes versus a Gibraltar Premier League side.
Absolutely. And listen, I'm not getting carried away.
Yeah, no, because
I think he could win. He could win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, it's not like you to throw your weight behind players who turn out to do really well for us, is it?
I am banking on Jordan Obita, and you can clip this if you want. Clip it if you want, and play it to me at the end of the season. This might be the worst take of the season. Jordan Obita, Player of the Year. Simple as.
And finally, from Harvey, not a question, just to say Dylan Levitt is a very sexy man.
I don't think he is, though.
What?
You can take.
He's bringing our average rating right down.
Yeah,
he is.
Not great.
See, if Newell gets subbed off and Levitt gets subbed on, then we go from an average 9 out of 10 down to about a 6.25. It's no.
Yeah, he's got the facial.
Especially if Marshall's not on the pitch either.
He's got the facial features of someone that would suit sitting in Section N at Tynecastle, I think.
Whoa. That's not very nice.
I know. Sorry, Section N.
That's a compliment to Hearts.
So we'll wrap up there, boys. First week back. Before we go, obviously a bit of news came out for the club over the last week or so about Harry McKirdy, subsequently having a problem with his ticker, as he called it. So we just want to wish him all the best in his recovery, and hope and pray that we finally get to see the Selly one day.
Desperate.
I honestly don't know what you'll do if you don't see that in a Hibs jersey at Easter Road.
Ken, what would be worse is if he scored and I wasn't there. Like,
That
I kept thinking, he's going to score when, like, he's at Dingwall midweek. Or
I hope that happens, and I hope I'm there. I hope I'm there just to rub it right in. Because
it's going to happen.
I hope it's a home game. I think we play Livingston before your important weekend. So I'm assuming that you probably won't be there. So that would be the ideal weekend for it to happen, because we'll all be there and you won't.
No, what's...
He's not going to be back by then.
Well, the week...
But I would love for it to happen.
The week before...
Oh, no, that's only about 2 months away. That's not happening.
No, that's not happening. I thought it was like 4 to 6 months.
So
he'll be out till the new year.
Wish you all the best, Harry, and we hope that first and foremost you get back to full health, and then hopefully we can see you on the park.
And if he's got any spare time, he's more than welcome to come and join us on the pod.
Yeah,
absolutely.
On the that probably won't happen because I'm not having a proper chill on the pod, but we'll see. Right, lads, enjoyed that. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. We will be back. When will we be back, Liam?
We will be back. I don't know.
A week on Monday.
Let's discuss between ourselves.
Yeah.
And figure it out.
Back soon.
Back sooner. We won't be having as much a break as between the last episode and this episode.
No.
That's for sure, Ramblers. Don't worry about that.
Yeah. Right, well, we'll wrap it up there. Thanks for listening, everybody. As always, give us a follow. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at the Hibs Ramble. Keep showing us your Leith 7 merch. Me and Mark wearing the tracky jacky. Sean and Liam wearing the toppy woppy. And we'll call it there. Cheers, boys. Have a good week, everybody.
See you later. Cheerio.
Let's get ready to rumble.